we acknowledge the people, past, present, and future, of the Duwamish tribe, the Muckleshoot tribe, and other tribes on whose traditional lands we work, study, and play. Welcome to the UW Design Class of 2021 Variable States. For the next 2 hours, we will be showcasing some of the senior capstones of our class.
We define variable states as the ability to change or adapt in particular circumstances and conditions. We, the UW Design Class of 2021, are proud to share with you our final online showcase, a celebration of individual journeys and shared memories we've accumulated during our time in the program. Thank you for joining us tonight.
We also want to thank the faculty for an amazing 3 years in this program. Their impact has shaped us into the people and designers we are today. We look to our professors as people who not only helped us grow through thoughtful critique, but who were also there for our highs and lowest lows, sharing inside jokes and encouragement from the studio to our Zoom rooms. Thank you for continuously challenging, inspiring, and empowering us.
Lastly, thank you to the class of 2021. Our experience within the design program would not have been the same without the strong community and relationship we have built with one another. Enjoy the show!
This is Christine Matthews on behalf of the design faculty. Welcome you to UW Design Show 2021 Professional Night. We are excited to see these capstones with you. And in particular, we wanted to welcome James Pierce to the faculty this year. He led the interaction design capstone class led the industrial design capstone class, and I worked with the visual communication design seniors on their capstones. Please enjoy the show.
Okay, here it goes.
You got it.
Hi, I'm Hannah and my project is called Hanmade. Hanmade is the name of my floristry side hustle that I created and branded over the last 10 weeks. Hanmade is your local florist with a twist. Each bouquet from Hanmade comes with a piece of art, so after your bouquet has passed, you still have something left to continue to bring life to your home. This project was largely inspired by my mom, who was a florist for a period of time when she was a young woman. She taught me how to appreciate flowers and build bouquets growing up. The title of my project comes from combining my name, Hannah, with made to highlight the unique handmade quality of every bouquet. The final logo uses a regular and italic font split to emphasize the separation of hand and made. The spunky and contemporary serif font addresses Handmade's target audience, which is young adults. In action, the branding for Hanmade is expressive yet minimal enough to take the back seat and allow for the bouquets of Hanmade to be the star of the show. The color palette of Hanmade features a light sage green paired with a darker forest green. These colors were intentionally chosen because of their unchanging role in floristry. I was able to make some of these branded items in real life as well. Here are 4 variations of stickers I made. I also printed thank you cards along with care instructions tucked away in a vellum envelope. Additionally, I created 3 stamps using a laser engraving machine. The one shown here was made specifically for bouquet wrappers in mind. Lastly, I designed and printed a number of pieces on 100% recycled cardstock. Each bouquet from Hanmade comes with one of these prints. A large portion of this project was learning how to capture and edit photos for the brand. This is a sample of some of the photos I took over the course of the 10-week span. Over time, I developed a Lightroom preset that enhances each photo while still keeping the colors and each flower true to how they look in real life. I then pulled all these components together to create a functional e-commerce website where customers can purchase prints and contact me for floral orders. Building a website like this definitely came with a steep learning curve, but I'm glad to have put this skill in my tool belt for the future. Post-graduation, I am looking to expand my floristry skills through bouquet arrangements and wedding centerpieces. Check me out on my website, handmadeflorals.com, or follow me on Instagram at handmadeflorals to keep up with my floristry journey. Thank you so much!
Hair is more than just the strands on our heads. Though it is not alive, it is quite literally an extension of ourselves. We straighten it, curl it, tame it, color it, and use many other methods to meet societal standards or to express our identities. The way that we care for our hair is often a byproduct of what our families have taught us, and what the world says about our hair can shape what we believe about ourselves.
As Asian women with curly hair, we have struggled to learn how to manage our hair. We have been told that our hair is too messy, too frizzy, that we need to change it to fit in and look professional. We have been told that this is not what Asian hair is supposed to look like we're doing something wrong. But our curly hair journeys have taught us that our hair is something to love, not something to be ashamed of.
Our goal is to provide curly hair education and promote hair diversity, and encourage people to experiment with hair care to find what works for them. We decided to use an online ebook format so that we could weave in multiple types of stories and information and provide links to online educational resources.
We began by conducting interviews with friends who have textured hair, ranging from wavy to curly to kinky. We have asked them about their thoughts and experiences pertaining to their hair, and found that they all had experienced struggles relating to their hair. Nevertheless, most people found some pride in their hair, seeing it as an expression of their personalities. Some participants also pointed out a deeper historical and social-cultural factor that prejudiced society against their textured hair.
The history of natural hair suppression in America goes all the way back to the era of slavery. Slave traders would cut off the hair of enslaved Africans to humiliate them and alienate them from their culture. Even after slavery ended, it became the norm for African Americans to be looked down on and excluded if they did not change their hair to look more white by straightening or relaxing it. Today, the bias against textured hair remains largely in the form of so-called professionalism.
We chose to portray snapshots of all the different stories in our ebook, beginning with our own stories and spiraling out into the stories we collected from both our primary and secondary research. We went with a more illustrative aesthetic because of the personal and informal nature of the topic. We wanted the colorful nature of the ebook to reflect the incredible diversity and beauty of the different hair types. We hope that by putting this information out there, we can encourage the celebration of curly hair and teach people about the cultural, historical, and personal significance of curly hair.
As the world continues to advance both in technology and ideas, the realm of virtual reality comes into the scene. While I've played game titles such as Boneworks, Beat Saber, and Superhot, the premise of creating my own virtual experiences has always stood out to me. Armed with my interest in VR games, the game development side hobby I had, and the 3 years at UW Design to aid me, I set out on a 10-week journey to create the game of my dreams. I first started by using Unreal Engine 4 and its blueprint scripting system to develop a basic working prototype of the results I wanted. Jumping, turning, analog stick movement, and climbing was a must. I developed mechanisms to climb on irregular objects, and eventually I did some math for the climbing part too. Everything was going okay until... Yeah, I ran into a problem in week 5. By giving movement priority to the user's headset to avoid motion sickness, they could stick their head in whatever object they wanted to. I backtracked a bit and recoded the character, this time with the help of an Unreal Engine plugin. Probably should have done that first. After that, things kept getting better. Unreal Engine had some free asset packs that really helped me out, particularly sci-fi themed ones. I heavily modified each model to suit my tastes in Cinema 4D, used a free program called Quixel Mixer to texture, and did some sound design using Audacity and some royalty-free sites. With some video editing and motion graphics I learned from the UW design program, I was ready to hit the ground running. That is, when I wasn't in 0G. Thank you and enjoy the game. Releasing soon.
Hi, do you ride a bike? If yes, imagine you are riding your bike and crash going over a rock. The fall wasn't that bad, but your bike is not performing well after the crash. Going to a bike shop can get very expensive and take a long time. You're looking to save some money this time and you don't mind doing the service yourself, but don't have the resources or knowledge. No problem, WorkBench has something for everyone. WorkBench is a bicycle space, tools, and knowledge system where customers can rent the time to work on their own bikes in a facility equipped with all the necessary tools. On our homepage, you quickly learn that WorkBench benefits all types of riders with all different levels of knowledge. The process is easy. Plan your visit online, explore the space before visiting, and stay connected with the community through a mobile app. Although we offer a variety of general and specific classes, in this situation you might be looking for something quick that will get you out and on the road again. Our Go Solo service will be a better fit for that. With our 3 levels, customers can be cleared to use a variety of tools and the space on their own. However, if you need some guidance during your visit, you can schedule an assisted day pass, where you will get one-on-one assistance from one of our mechanics. On the appointments page, future visitors can filter by week and type of service. In this case, you're looking for the next available assisted day pass. For first-time visitors, we recommend checking out the space online to get familiar with the area. Our self-check-in area makes it easy and fast for people to come in and out. In this situation, after checking in, you will receive a designated workbench where a staff member will be waiting. After your visit, you might decide to explore further and sign up for a class. When looking through the community page, you're introduced to WorkBench Mobile, an app designed to make scheduling easier and stay connected with the community outside the space. On our community page, users can look through the forum for answers, connect with other users, and make friends in the community. When looking through classes, you can find the beginner class you're looking for in this scenario. Each class consists of hands-on experience and an additional opportunity that makes the class a little special. In the beginner knowledge class, you will have the opportunity to work on your own bike. Before signing up for the class, you remember that in your last visit, the mechanic suggested you change a part on your bike. Unfortunately, you don't remember the name of the part. Don't worry, WorkBench allows you to search through a variety of options. The diagram search engine allows you to click on the section on the bike and look for the part you forgot the name for. After finding the right part, you can purchase it from the app and have it ready to use in the shop. Whether you have no previous knowledge, know some basic services, or have extensive experience, WorkBench has something for everyone.
Hi, I'm the Leshen Vtuber, and I'm Patrick Roller's senior capstone project. I'm a Leshen, which is an ancient spirit that lives to protect the forest and its animals, but I'm also a Vtuber, which is a content creator that uses an animated avatar with real-time face tracking. Before I get into the process of how I was made, first let me tell you my story. Thousands of years ago, I fell asleep in the forest that I was sworn to protect. While I was asleep, the forest was torn down and a city was built in its place. I woke up wondering where the animals and nature had gone. Just as I was about to wreak havoc and get revenge for the loss of my home, I saw how the crows had adapted to the urban landscape. I had a change of heart and listened to the crows to learn how to live in the city. However, the crows can't teach me everything I need to know, so I'm VTubing to learn how to be human by consuming souls from whoever finds me. Now you might be wondering, what goes into making a VTuber? Well, this project consisted of 3 things. Needed an original character design with a backstory like you just heard, a straight-on illustration of the character, and a live 2D rig for webcam tracking. So let's look at how the illustration was made. Patrick has drawn me several times in the past, and used these as reference when designing my original design. From there, it was testing out different textures and shapes until we had the final design. After that was done, he split the illustration into separate parts to be animated, and filled in the gaps so that there wouldn't be any holes whenever the model moves. Some things to note about the final design. Since I'm shape-shifting to be human, you can see my body has some fluid textures like it's morphing. Also, I have some shoes that I found off of a power line, and they help me disguise my footprints, but they also look stylish. Alright, onto the Live 2D rigging. Live 2D looks kind of complicated, but in essence, it just allows you to take a 2D illustration and animate it according to different variables that a webcam can track. Before animating, Patrick made these sketches of what the face should look like while it rotates, and then used these as guidelines to get the initial rotations animated. Live 2D can do much more than just animations with rotations, though. After I had the rotations of left, right, up, down, and everything in between, Patrick also added things like I can put a shadow over my eyes, or my eyes light up whenever I talk. I can even smile with my eyes, or blink. Once the model was done, some finishing touches were a profile picture and a background for me to live in. So that's the story of how I was made. Thank you for listening. And thank you for the souls.
Hi everyone, I'm Michael.
I'm Devansh.
And together we created Nextdoor, an app that helps customers support their surrounding communities. At the beginning of this quarter, we shared an interest in helping underrepresented experiences. Given our Asian culture and backgrounds, we sought to leverage our own experiences in a project that could also appeal to a larger audience. We began by interviewing Julie, one of the owners of Orange King. Orange King was a restaurant that Devansh and I both visited often, and even though I didn't know her personally prior to the interview, I did feel like we shared a personal connection every time I went to the restaurant. During the interview, we had the opportunity to learn about her move to the US, opening a restaurant, and earning money to send her kids to college. She also spoke about her time since the restaurant closed and the connections that she misses.
After hearing Julie's story, we wanted to take a people-forward approach and decided that we will use our homepage to highlight owners and their stories for when people are looking to discover new restaurants around them. You'll see that people's faces and names go first, followed by information about their restaurants, and at the very top we have tags for people to further refine their search. Our search page has a wide variety of categories that people can select from, and the results page allows for people to view all these owner profiles and a glimpse into their menu. Once you're in the owner profile, you'll see that you have details about the restaurant as well as the owner's stories. We feature photos here as well as a quote from the restaurant owner, and stories allow for you to read more about their background and how the restaurant came to be, and then you can finally view the restaurant menu itself. The merchant side of the app is pretty straightforward, where people can set up their restaurant profiles. We offer Yelp integration to further pre-populate a lot of the information, and that way people can move forward to the owner profile. Over here, basic information such as the owner name and age are put in, as well as a quote from the owner and the sections about the restaurant and their stories that we just showed.
And alongside this mobile app, we knew we wanted to create physical products that help promote the brand. This is an example of a poster series that promotes U-District. So it features an image of the community as well as the different people that make up it. With Nextdoor, people can make more mindful, intentional choices about the businesses they support while helping to cultivate stronger, inclusive communities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Evita Wijaya,
And I'm Melissa Takai.
and we made a short film called
Those burnt leftovers. I hate them. This short film follows a person who is struggling through a lot of things in their life, and focaccia. Focaccia is the one thing that they love so much, that they know so well, but one day they mess up, and it messes them up, and that's what this short film is about. Very much based on our own personal experiences.
I was talking to Melissa about it at the same time. We both realized that we had very similar struggles, had a hard time getting out of bed and not being able to commit to design work fully.
And we know that a lot of people around us struggle with their mental health as well, so we wanted to make a short film that people can relate to and for us to share our story. Since this story is based on our personal experiences, we wrote this script as a monologue, and in the movie it's adapted into a journal entry. In the beginning of the process, we wanted the character to be typing this out on an online forum seeking help, but we eventually decided that the journal entry just felt more intimate, private, made more sense, and we would be able to incorporate way more elements to the visual direction.
I think I told a classmate that I would never do motion design again or touch After Effects in my life. It's pretty ironic because I ended up going back into After Effects and learning more about motion design for a capstone. We did a mix of scanography, abstract videos, and handwritten type. For the handwritten type, all I did was just write it out in Procreate on my iPad and then export it into After Effects using a PSD file, which is very simple. And then I also did some scanography, like printing out images of focaccia and also scanning actual focaccia on my scanner. I actually realized that I enjoyed this part of image making because it was really fun to do something that was tactile and out of the screen. For abstract videos, Melissa chose several stock videos that kind of showed the composition or evoked the emotions out of that scene. And then she did some After Effects magic and layering and blending and some special effects. The short gets more abstract as the character goes into a spiral and talks more about her feelings. So in the beginning, you'll see more images and more scanography, more literal images. But then as she goes into a spiral, it becomes more abstract.
So before we even made any visuals, I was just more interested in opening up Logic Pro and just making stuff. A lot of it wasn't that great. It's just like, playing around, seeing what I can do, but it was really fun. For sound design, there wasn't a really specific direction. I kind of just had the final product of the video and just went on Google and searched up sounds that matched what I saw on the video. Some of the sounds I recorded myself because it was easier. Most of the sounds were just found on the internet, and I just worked with that.
And then as far as music goes, like the little pieces of music that you hear in the film, some of those I made. I think I really enjoy sound design a lot. Like, I was more interested in just doing that instead of making any visual stuff. I mean, I love After Effects actually, but I really think sound design just makes the whole thing come alive.
You can watch our full short film at our website, thoseburntleftovers.com.
There you can learn more about our short film, and we're also selling merchandise with a percentage of proceeds going to select organizations. And that's it. We hope you enjoy the film. Come check out our UW Design Show 2021 online pop-up shop to find our show's merchandise and incredible things that our class has made for your purchase. Passion Fruit is an outlet for graduating UW designers to build community and emphasize the importance of practicing curiosity through creative means. 100% of net profits from our show merchandise will be donated to various organizations. Learn more after our website launch this week at passionfruit.uwdesignshow.com.
I'm Charlie.
And I'm Logan.
And this is our Capstone. It's a bike packing system design. The current solutions on the market, there are a couple of big issues with them. One, they're hard to carry when they're not on your bike, and they're really inconvenient to connect and disconnect from your bike. But throughout a bike packing trip, there are a multitude of scenarios in which you're going to have to remove the bags and carry them on your person.
So although you're going to spend most of your day on the bike, there are some specific instances when those bags are much better used if they can come off and be carried on the person. And so an instance might be traveling, whether you're in an airport or on public transit, or maybe you're crossing difficult or unsafe, unrideable terrain, or maybe you're just in town and want to take off on a day hike.
And so from there, we thought that we should build a more versatile, more adaptable bike packing baggage system so that users could more easily navigate alternative transportation, like the initial plane ride that usually happens at the beginning of a trip, unrideable terrain, and then other transitory departures from your bike throughout the trip.
So this is our final concept and what we came up with.
Next stop.
When you are thousands of feet above the ground, do you ever wonder about what's below you? Where you are? The culture, the people, the sights and food and geography? Why should you relinquish your desire to explore just because you're on a plane? Introducing a new in-flight experience that fosters your curiosity and brings you meaningful real-time experiences. With Below, now you can explore cities passing by below you through multiple cultural touchpoints. From traditions to food to scenery to local life, as you fly by, you can satisfy your curiosity, understand the culture, and connect with the ground below you. Through short videos, you can get a snippet of local life and use a first-person view to observe your surroundings. For instance, if you pass over Suzhou, the flight attendant might say, "Attention passengers, below you is Suzhou," which you can access through a ground camera in the city, the live plane recording, or the satellite view. Through these different views, you can observe the city with a completely different perspective, previously inaccessible. You can access our videos through this menu or explore them through pins on the maps. When we combine videos with featured experiences, you can immerse yourself in the culture with all of your senses. Try the authentic food, drink, or music right at your seat, making your city tour much more complete. This is an in-flight revolution, a cultural experience in the clouds, because it's not always about the destination, but the journey along the way.
My name is Taylor Stinchfield, and I am a VCD senior. And for my capstone, called Project 29, I've created 3 kinetic posters that visualize select songs by Eprom, who's one of my favorite West Coast electronic artists. Being heavily interested in the fast-growing world of digital animation, I set out to create these posters to exist as a part of my Instagram design account, Stinchhouse. A big inspiration for this project was to create a digital poster that utilized the features of screen devices. Instead of creating a flat, still poster meant to be printed, I was able to add elements of movement, time, light, sound, and 3D space into the poster to enhance the viewing experience. So after loads and loads of brainstorming, along with hours and hours and hours of rendering, here's what I've created.
Hi, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Amara.
And for our project, we researched one of the most important aspects of childhood development, play.
Play is far more powerful for children than many parents realize.
In the early years, children's main way of learning is through play. Climbing aids in children's mental and physical development and has been shown to improve creativity, memory, and critical thinking abilities.
However, this means that children are prone to climb on anything and everything within reach. There is currently no federally mandated standard in furniture stability.
Consequently, most furniture found in homes is not stable enough to support being climbed on.
11,300 children on average visit the ER each year for furniture tip-over injuries. This fear inclines parents to deprive children of exploratory, unsupervised play in order to protect them from danger. But eliminating all risks would also eliminate challenges essential to children's growth and development.
We should build safe yet functional furniture for children that encourages exploratory and unstructured play, inspires imaginative interactions, and provides a comforting reassurance for first-time parents.
So we introduce to you the Climber's Crate, a multifunctional furniture set that encourages children to explore and experiment safely in a controlled way.
The Climber's Crate has 9 storage spaces that contain versatile, plush cushions that create a high level of climbing, building, exploration, and rolling.
Extra storage space can be found in the stairs to store all of the essentials from clothes to toys and games.
It includes a desk that pulls up for added workspace,
a rocking toy that slides out for rocking, resting, and hiding,
and a slide for hours of safe climbing and sliding fun, the perfect introduction to active play.
Kids are going to fall, crash, slip, and tumble. But there are little things we can do to ensure that kids avoid the more serious injuries that can lead to disabilities and even death.
The lids will lower slowly and gently to avoid crushing even the smallest of fingers and will stay open until you are ready to close.
Soft foam stair nosing provides extra protection and improves visibility by further defining the steps.
The desk self-locks into the open position and releases with a simple fingertip press for easy up and down that children can do themselves.
The cushions have a soft foam interior that lets children enjoy a safe play area, and the exterior fabric can be removed and washed for endless play.
And finally, the Climbers Crate is modular so that it can be arranged in various ways to fit rooms of all shapes and sizes.
It can be arranged by positioning the sections in the desired setup and sliding the connecting wall panels in. The tops of the sections would then be placed and screwed in to lock the sections into place.
And that's the Climbers Crate. Thank you all for listening.
Hello, my name is Alina. I'm 14 years old and I go to Northeast Middle School. In my free time, I enjoy painting, designing greeting cards, and listening to music. I will say I'm a pretty creative person, and you're about to see a week in my life. I usually go home from school around 4 in the afternoon, and I'm really excited today to learn more about design on the app my mom downloaded for me last week. Let me introduce Design Academy to you guys. On the dashboard, you can see your profile on the right, and the app has the lessons, projects, and community pages. There are 8 categories of design topics you can choose from, and under each topic, there are many lessons. I have tried the kerning and the color wheel lessons on the app. I'm glad that I know what primary, secondary, and tertiary colors are now. After each lesson, Ms. Lin also checks my understanding with the practice and application features. After completing the lesson, some relevant projects will be unlocked. For example, Mr. Ives guided me through the gratitude poster. It was so fun interviewing and designing for my best friend, Jennifer. The next day, after I arrived at school, I introduced the app to my other friend, Katie, who was passionate about graphic design. She told me that she unlocked a team project after completing some lessons, and she asked me if I wanted to do it together. So we worked on it together after school. Together, we brainstormed, gave each other feedback on ideas, and finally down-selected a concept. I never thought of designing for blind people, and the research we did together really helped me to empathize with them. I hope our design will be useful. After doing projects, we can upload our work to the community page and give each other feedback. I found this so useful because sometimes I can be so tired from looking at my work that I cannot see it with fresh eyes. I heard that you can also get critique from university students when your level is higher. I'm at level 5 now, and a notification told me that I can level up by completing more lessons or giving more feedback in the community. I'm also excited for the profile frames I can earn at level 6. My school only has visual arts and performing arts classes, so Design Academy really helped me to learn more, and it is so cool to do projects with my friends.
Hi, I'm Emma Brennan. I'm a VCD senior and my capstone project is called Sugarcoat. Before this quarter had started, I knew that I wanted to rebrand my best friend's side hustle cookie business that she had started during quarantine last March. Originally, the company went by the name of Cookies by Chloe. As you can see, Chloe's extremely talented and constantly receiving requests for custom cakes, cookies, and other amazing treats. Because of this, these custom requests have shaped her brand thus far. We wanted to change that and build a stronger visual direction for the future of her company. Our biggest target audience is Gen Z and millennials. These cookies and treats aren't always a cheap option, but they sure look great in pictures. We want to appeal to those who enjoy a delicious baked good, love to have beautiful treats at their events, and is also someone we can reach across a platform like Instagram because there isn't currently a storefront. Before diving into designing the new brand, I did a competitive audit of similar companies to give us a better idea of how we could stand out to a consumer. The open pockets within our research of these brands, represented by the blue circles, allowed us to visualize what isn't out there yet and how we can direct the look and feel of Sugarcoat to stand out from competitors and become its own unique brand. The goal was to create a brand that was cozy yet modern and provided products that ranged from expressive to minimal but always felt custom and special to each customer. These key characteristics were at the forefront of all my design decisions. Going briefly into the brand guidelines, Sugarcoat exists as a bold yet friendly brand. Although photography is going to be a very important piece of the brand, the color palette, typefaces, and grid also play a major role in the final look and feel. The final logo is a bold and angular type paired with a soft hand-drawn star. I created a primary and secondary stacked logo. Now let's dive a bit into the grid that I used. The most common ratio of ingredients in cookies is 3 to 2 to 1. 3 parts flour, 2 parts fat, and 1 part sugar. This will result in the basic, dependable sugar cookie. I used this ratio to create a grid that is used throughout all of the visual pieces of Sugarcoat. As a whole, Sugarcoat's brand relies heavily on photography style. Majority of my quarter was spent learning about photography, working to find the right styles for the brand, and I ended up using muted and textured backdrops, bright direct lighting, and custom presets to create a unique, editorial, and punchy feel to these photos. For the social media presence, it was really important that we highlighted the products of Sugarcoat. Using all photography for these posts allowed us to create a strong personality and voice for the brand to come through in the captions. Quickly exploring the website, there's a strong intention behind the story of Sugarcoat and who we are and who Chloe is. I also prioritize highlighting the treats through photography and clear informational product pages for each treat that we sell. Because Sugarcoat exists as a delicious physical product, I created all the extra collateral that might exist in a bakery setting. This included advertisement posters, stationery, stickers, packaging, aprons, and tote bags. I felt it was important to keep the clean yet playful and bold look that is Sugarcoat. I also created branded postcards showcasing the photography to make each order just a touch more special. Post-graduation, my goal is to fully integrate the new look and feel and launch the website for Sugarcoat. Make sure to follow us on Instagram so you don't miss out.
Hi, I'm Jenna, and the following story tells of my crafted adventure in making pottery and what I've learned along the way. I can't pinpoint the moment I fell in love with pottery. It snuck up on me. At first, I was just an avid fan and scholar of the craft, until this year when I started taking classes in hand building at home. I started out pretty nervous, but I was also fueled by curiosity and excitement. Starting out, a lot of my pieces ended up in the mush pot to be recycled and used again later on. I rejoiced when pieces survived. I laughed, shrugged, and mourned when they crumpled under my touch. The process of centering clay became a mental practice. I needed to find harmony within myself before I could offer it to the clay. And while I was slowly getting better at turning balls of clay into pots, I found myself within a state of metamorphosis. The mush pot of messed up pieces was opened less frequently, and I felt more comfortable in my potter's apron. Feelings of self-doubt were replaced with celebrations of little victories as my ability to bring a form out from my imagination and into my fingertips was growing. However, I soon learned that the success of a piece should not be measured by its alignment with my expectations. Experimenting with glazes showed me how to embrace when things go a little awry and diverge from my own imagination. Unpredictability became a welcomed part of the process, making the kiln opening that much more exciting. I learned that living on kiln time forces a shift in priorities and perspectives. My preferred pace is no longer relevant as practices of care and patience become paramount, and the moment of opening the kiln is weighted with anticipation. The phases and stages of pottery making wrapped and folded me into a cycle of ongoing curiosity, doubt, validation, and joy. After months of crafting, the abundance of finished pots overwhelmed my senses. To me, Each pot represents a different phase in my cycle of learning and becoming. Within Crafted Adventure, I share the little moments, along with the big, the sounds and textures of the studio, and the tidbits of wisdom I've found in clay. Pursuing creative passions in life, whether pottery or any other medium, requires bravery and vulnerability. I hope that by sharing my experiences, I might help spark someone else to learn a new craft, share their passion, and embark on their own crafted adventure. The full narrative can be found online at craftedadventure.design.
My name is Micah. I'm an industrial design student, and this will be a brief summary of my senior capstone project. Based on prior interest, I elected to design in the area of forestry and forest management. I identified a couple of major problems facing forest lands today in the U.S. The first is wildfires resulting from poor environmental policy, namely fire suppression. Small-sized wildfires are natural and healthy for forest ecosystems as they promote new growth and remove organic fuel like dead trees, which in excess leads to larger, uncontrollable fires. But for decades now, the main policy for fire prevention has been the extinguishing of wildfires as soon as they appear. Years of this policy and practice has led to a significant buildup of fuel that is now enabling highly destructive fires. The second is the shortage of skilled foresters. Findings from the Bureau of Labor show that due to several factors, there aren't enough young people going into forestry and forestry-related fields to replace the current aging workforce. This trend increases the need for automation. While there are many new or up-and-coming technologies being introduced to forestry, most are very specialized and require agencies to spend a lot of money for something that performs a limited set of tasks. My goal in approaching the problems I've outlined was to design an all-in-one solution that is able to collect a wide variety of data about forests and devise comprehensive management plans, in essence, taking on the role of a forester. The concept I've designed takes the form of a small autonomous vehicle, which I've branded with the name Lynx. The defining feature of this concept is its use of stereoscopic technology in these front sensors. Both sensors are made up of two cameras, serving as two separate reference points and enabling them to collect three-dimensional spatial data with precision accuracy. Paired with an AI, this technology can gauge the height, width, and volume of trees and collect other important data which would then be used to generate a digital reconstruction of the forest and a corresponding management plan. The vehicle would be equipped with mechanical features in its undercarriage that enable it to travel on rough terrain and over or around obstacles. Among these are all-wheel turning and independent suspension for balance on inclines. And finally, the vehicle would return to a high-efficiency solar charging station once its battery is depleted. Depending on the acreage being surveyed, several of these stations may be present within a particular area of forest land. With that, thank you for listening, and for a more in-depth look at my project, you can check out my portfolio at this URL.
Hi everyone, my name is Sabrina, and today I'll be walking you through my capstone project, Farming for Abolition. This project is an informational keepsake that reveals systemic oppression in U.S. food production by uplifting farmworker experiences to make a case for abolition. This writing is made to be approachable for anyone who eats produce in America, regardless of any previous knowledge. I also wanted the content to be actionable for people who already consider themselves abolitionists or those who are abolition curious. When starting my research, I first conducted a literature review on material from 3 relevant UW courses I had taken. Then, I synthesized findings from my first-hand experience doing mutual aid work and from conversations with farmworker justice organizers from my hometown. After that initial round of research, I sent out a survey to gauge existing knowledge and found that close to 2/3 of responders had little or no knowledge across all 3 of my topics. I then conducted a virtual workshop to narrow in on content while also beginning to develop a visual language. Across the 3 leaflets, there are approximately 7,000 words, as well as 50 original drawings and pieces of hand-lettered type. I'll be taking you through some of my favorite sections in each leaflet next. Pamphlet 1 serves as the introduction to the 3-part series. We go through some statistics on who farmworkers are and meet Javier, a high schooler from Eastern Washington, who took to the fields to support his family when his mom broke a disc falling off an orchard ladder. The bottom of this first leaflet is also an introduction to food apartheid and why many food justice activists prefer that term over food desert. In the second leaflet, we begin to dig deeper. In this first section, we go over some information on the ways and amounts that farmworkers get paid before diving into the ways that they're kept systemically vulnerable by capitalism, lawmakers, and the environment. The final leaflet is where the ideas of abolition come in. I break the movement down into 3 main aspects. First, the fight for a life without the prison industrial complex. Second, the evolving process of redefining community safety. And last, the prioritization of meeting everyone's survival needs while coming together as a community. Within each of these sections, readers can also find guides to direct action, marked with the Take Action leaves. A blooming hand illustration can be found on the back of all 3 leaflets, with the sources and resources section at the bottom of the third as well. My goal for this project is to encourage solidarity with farmworkers and to motivate people to take some form of abolitionist action using the steps that I've outlined in the third leaflet. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today and getting to know my capstone. If you would like to read Farming for Abolition for yourself, please visit the link on screen. I also recognize that my personal life experience inevitably biased my writing, and I invite criticism and discussion from anyone who is comfortable sharing through my email on screen as well. Thank you again, and have a great day.
Hi, my name is Adam. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm so happy to share with you my final capstone, Queer Thoughts. Queer Thoughts is a mobile AR experience for LGBTQ individuals to express their innermost thoughts and discover support across different affinities within their local community. This project stems from my own struggles as a biracial, second-generation queer person of color. When I first started exploring my own identity, I found it very isolating to discover a community that I could relate to, and had trouble opening up to others about my own experiences. However, after conducting supporting research and talking with other individuals, I soon discovered this struggle wasn't uncommon. Like many barriers that we face, those who are questioning or accepting their own identity don't always have a system to open up to. I asked myself, how can I develop a channel that gives queer and queer people of color to provide empathetic social support and express those life experiences in a healthy manner. Through 10 weeks of research, competitive analyses, and co-design sessions, I decided to utilize location-based augmented reality to integrate these thoughts as a means of queer community building. Take a look.
I tried to change you, tried to make you into someone else. I guess the only one I'm fooling is my stupid self. You're broken, we know that. And if you knew it, you won't fight me when I say farewell. That's how love goes, goes. That's how love goes, 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 goes. That's how love goes, goes.
Queer Thoughts is important because it explores a broader discussion of building inclusion into spaces that have never been considered to be safe. It presents the opportunity in which support for queer people can exist anywhere, even in areas when you least expect it. If you have any more questions about this project, feel free to reach me at these links below. Thank you!
Hey, I'm Clarence.
I'm Jubilee.
And I'm Ibrahima. Over the past few years in the design program, we've worked on numerous projects together, both in pairs and individually.
We've been lucky to grow not only as designers, collaborators, but more importantly, as friends.
Of the many interests that we share, it was our love for music that brought us closer together over the past 3 years, helping us get through the best and worst of times. For our very last project, we wanted to focus on one of our all-time favorite albums, Channel Orange. Welcome to World in Your Hands, an exploration of Frank Ocean's 2012 album, Channel Orange, through an amalgamation of visualizers, shared stories, and narratives from the perspective of the listener. Inspired by Ocean's lyric and end, the concluding track on the record, World in Your Hands serves as a larger metaphor for the three-part journey that makes up our project: a digital platform, an installation, and a publication. We hope to unveil the same musical threads that tie us closer together for others, bringing a world of memories into your hands.
One of our favorite parts of this project was collecting stories and memories from our close friends, who are also admirers of the album. We conducted over 15 interviews and asked questions such as how, when, and where did you first listen to Channel Orange? Is there a memory associated with a specific track on the album? And how has your relationship with Frank Ocean's music changed over the years? The responses that we received were more than we could have asked for. Our interviews were rich with personal and vulnerable memories associated with the album.
The website is the first touch point for our contributors and visitors, and is dedicated to the collection of stories. It's sparse and unrevealing, but it's dotted with references to music that all of our participants know and love. Users are asked to select their favorite songs and to elaborate on the role that these songs played in their lives. After completing the questionnaire, the users met with this new page featuring an animated composition and an updated description of the project. After the site's been live for about 6 months, the questionnaire goes down, and in its place sits a teaser for the upcoming installation.
Hosted at the wonderful Studio Matthews, courtesy of Christine, our installation is entirely informed by unique listening experiences of Channel Orange, which we've collected through our interviews. The space is split off into 3 primary sections, the first being projections of the pink matter featured on our website, as a way to reintroduce viewers to our project. The second part, entitled Communal, features a short film recounting listening experiences in the car. Lastly, the third section is entitled Solitude, in which we've recreated a bedroom to bring viewers to a place of comfort and quiet reflections.
The third and final part of this project is the publication. We created a zine featuring narratives, interviews, and visuals. The photo direction of this project was dreamy, ethereal, and had a third-person perspective, as if you were revisiting a distant memory. We used a simple stab-stitch binding and utilized the ellipse as a die cut on the front cover. The various voices, perspectives, and memories of the world are all stored in this zine, which ultimately brings the world in your hands. Thank you to all of our collaborators who contributed to our project, to Studio Matthews for your hospitality, and to all of you who are experiencing this with us. And Frank, so happy that you can make it tonight. We appreciate you.
What's up, guys? Good evening and shit. Yeah, other than that, blessings. Enjoy your evening.
Hello, my name is Ian.
And my name is Chan.
This is our capstone project Lift, an assisted seating system for mobility impairment. This project began with the goal of improving public transit for the elderly. Current transit focuses on maximizing space, but has relatively few implemented features for the mobility challenges that seniors face. While there are many disabilities that affect mobility, the most prevalent is arthritis, which limits one's range of motion and an individual's ability to travel safely and comfortably. In fact, osteoarthritis, arthritis caused by breakdown of cartilage from age, is the leading cause of disability for individuals older than 65 and affects 70 to 90% of those over 75.
This is Mitchell, an example of our targeted user. Mitchell is someone who is independent and doesn't live in a nursing home. However, he does have osteoarthritis, which limits his mobility. His family does not want him driving due to his condition. Thus, he uses the public bus for his outings. We understand that this is a very specific user. However, we specifically picked someone with arthritis because it's a very common disease and affects mobility. We realize our designs can subsequently be used with someone with a broken leg or someone who's pregnant or with other mobility issues. After extensive research and user testing, we found that there are problems in these 4 specific areas: seating, handles, stop indicators, and storage. These are the initial ideation sketches where we developed form and functionality of the seat. The initial inspiration was based around the zigzag chair, but slowly developed to a wall-mounted solution. We took our sketches into rough CAD models where we roughed out the pivot mechanism and developed the final form language. We also used T-Garage, a virtual reality software, to test the ergonomics of our model in full scale.
And this brings us to Lift. Here's another overview shot of the interior space that we created, as well as a close-up of the seat and the materials that we chose.
And this is a diagram of how the seat mechanism moves as the rider gets out of the seat. First, as the rider gets up from the seat, the bottom seat cushion will slowly rise. To further aid with egress, the rider can naturally push down on the armrest for an additional boost. This system also works in reverse by helping riders into their seat upon entry as well. And this is the internal mechanism of the chair. We utilize a 2-to-1 gear ratio and a pulley system to connect the movement of the chair and the armrest.
This is a minimalist color wave that we felt was appropriate for our personal style and a transit experience 5 years out. However, we also designed for other local transit like King County Metro and Sound Transit. Finally, this is an overview of our optimized layout, looking at a transit experience 5 years out. While Lyft is not the full answer to transit accessibility, it is a step towards prioritizing public transit over personal vehicles in the near future. Thank you.